thank you all for being here. It's an exciting day in Auburn baseball. Robin and Anna and Olivia and Maddie, welcome to Auburn. It's great to have you and your dad here as part of our family, or back as part of our family. When I began to do this search for baseball, the first thing that I thought about, which is the first thing that I always think about doing a search, is who is the best person for those guys that are over there in that clubhouse right now going through 1-on-4 practices. Who's the best guy for them? And then you begin to think about what qualifications do you need to have to be a successful baseball coach at Auburn? And the Southeastern Conference is different. And to be able to bring a guy in with the character and integrity that Butch Thompson has, and with the experience that he has in the Southeastern Conference at Georgia, Auburn, Mississippi State, and the way that he has owned the state of Alabama from a recruiting standpoint, then you begin to think about the future of the program. The first concern is what is best for those guys over there. Then you begin to think about the future of the program. When you begin to look at what Butch has done from a recruiting standpoint and also from a player development standpoint, it's very rare that you have the opportunity to hire somebody that has all of those qualities. And Butch has those. It was astonishing to me, or maybe amazing to me, the number of former players, not only just at Auburn, but at other institutions, that called me about Butch. Not only about his character and integrity, but about how great of a teacher he was. And he's the kind of guy that we'd want our son to play for. And I appreciate so much all of those. And we actually got calls and emails from players that were on Major League Baseball teams of players that Butch had coached. And just hearing what those players had to say, they were relaying it to us. So to be able to bring a guy in here to take this program back to its greatness that we once experienced, and have a guy like Butch do that, be here for us, it's just a blessing. So it is with great honor and great pleasure that I get a chance to introduce to you our new head baseball coach, Coach Butch Thompson. Butch.
I can pause and take this in for a moment, can I? I've waited long enough. And I really wanted to say, War Eagle. War Eagle. It's great to be back at Auburn. I'm honored, humbled, and blessed to stand here today as head baseball coach at Auburn University. Auburn has meant so much to me and my family over the years. I had the great fortune of spending the last 15 years in the Southeastern Conference. I feel battle-tested. And trust me, it's a battle in our league. The experience of remaining and being current in the league has prepared me for this opportunity. This is a place I know, I love, and I respect. I wanted this job because of Auburn's history, tradition, and passion. Auburn has one of the finest fan bases in the country. I believe all the ingredients are here. The commitment to get to the College World Series is here. Before I go any further, I'd like to recognize some very important people. First off, Robin, my wife. I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for you. You are my rock. Coach's wives make so many sacrifices that all too often go unseen. And you're no different. You've stood beside me over 20 years, been there through the good and the bad. I appreciate you and love you, how you've raised our children. I'm glad to be your husband. Thank you for being my partner on this incredible journey. Anna, wait. Olivia, and Madeline, better known as Strike One, Strike Two, and Strike Three. We all say being a parent is the greatest joy in life, and you girls are the light of my life. I'm so proud of each of you and the tremendous young women that you're growing into and already have become. I threw that jab in there for the teenagers. To the Auburn administration, I want to thank Dr. Jay Googe, Jay Jacobs, the Board of Trustees for giving me this unbelievable opportunity. Rest assured that no one has higher expectations for Auburn baseball and our student athletes. I appreciate you believing in me. Jay, for me, the Auburn job has been more of a calling than a desire. Part of that has to do with the man leading the athletic department. Jay Jacobs has incredible character, integrity, and vision. I look forward to working side by side with Jay to put a product on the field and in the classroom and in the community that the Auburn family could be proud of. I also want to thank Coach Malzahn, Coach Pearl, and Coach Myers for taking time out of their busy schedule to make me feel welcome in this athletic department. I'm proud to be part of such a great group of head coaches here at Auburn. The former coaches, I'd also like to recognize them, John Cohen, Scott Strickland. I've been with these guys the last 7.5 years. They've made an investment in me to help me get to the point of being selected for an opportunity like this. Tom Slater, Dave Perno, Brian Shoup, who's a mentor, who's my Paul. Hal Baird, when I think of Auburn baseball, I still think of Hal Baird. As we get to the point, since I just arrived today, we did talk to our players. Recruiting is the second piece. We have so many families that chose Auburn because they love Auburn. Getting the opportunity to connect with them and see why they chose Auburn and getting to know and meet them is paramount for me. We want to stabilize the moment. We want a staff of passionate teachers, recruiters that are above reproach, that are interested in being leaders of men to help us with our vision, to keep training our identity. I think the timing's perfect. I think we can take a positive outlook and see at this point in time of the year of where we're going. I think we have a good ball club. I know these players. I've competed against these players. There's an opportunity for an initial connection from knowing that. We will not give this season away, next week away, tomorrow away, today away, a pitch away. And with all the statements that I make, I have to be able to look everyone in the eye that loves Auburn so much today. And me and Robin, when we made a trip over here to visit and be so interested in this job, that we knew we had to make that commitment. Our family had to make that commitment that we were going to do everything we could every day to make a difference. We'll be trying to get out on the road immediately, maybe as soon as tomorrow, to start making a difference and to galvanize these guys that have made a commitment to Auburn University. It's an extreme honor to be standing here. So much work to do, but I'm excited about what the future holds. That future starts today. Thank you, and War Eagle.
Recruiting-wise, with the early signing, November signing period so close at hand,
Yes.
what can you do and what will be your approach to guys who maybe have committed to you at Mississippi State that might not want to switch if they do?
I just, we'll take individual case, but, like I said, we got here at 12:30. We had to put the cart before the horse. November the 11th to the 18th is our early signing period that you're talking about. So good to see you again. But, I'll be interested in seeing what happens. I think if I'm sitting here and talking about integrity, there's no way that we would ever reach out to anybody. I'll be interested in reaching out to our players like we have, and these young men that have made a commitment to Auburn University. I think I need to get with them and reassure them and their families and just be excited about why did you choose Auburn. And I think there's enough work to do focused within the walls of this stadium and recruiting in our state and seeing these young men and families that made a commitment to Auburn that I got my hands full.
Butch, Matt Stevens, Montgomery Advertiser, you're 44. Did you ever have a conversation with Robin that this day might not happen anywhere, let alone Auburn?
Well, I am human. So, yes, but it's like, Matthew, just like this. God's got this, and I'm good with it. And I really believe in my heart I'm more prepared for this job by being inside the league. That'll be important for me to, when you surround yourself with great coaches as we start working into a staff. Is it someone that really knows this league, or do we have to go find somebody that you think has to take a couple of years to figure out the speed and the pace of the Southeastern Conference? In some ways, that was what I was mentioning with John and Scott, how they've invested in me, that they've allowed me to practice, but I know what an SEC player looks like. I've had an opportunity to coach first rounders as opposed to coming and trying to figure it out. And I thought that was a huge excitement for me, because knowing these players and seeing them compete and knowing that there's good players here, to want to be a part of that.
But Jason Caldwell, inside the Auburn Tigers, you talked about knowing these guys. How much does that give you a head start in having not only competed but recruited a lot of these guys too? I mean, how much does that help you hit the ground running?
There's going to be some interesting conversations why they came here and didn't come. I think it's easier on my part, but at the end of the day, we're dealing with people and young men, and they're the complete focus. And that's what I appreciate about Jay mentioning that. They are the focus. Can I earn their trust today in one team meeting? I don't think so. Not real trust. Not level 2 or layered. And that'll take time. And we have to start with that immediately. But hopefully, instead of me standing up here and saying a couple of words, I think the actions that me, our coaching staff, I think the actions of these players will speak loud to me. I think how I treat them and how I build them up and what we do on a daily basis is going to speak volumes to them if what I'm saying is real. So trust is a challenge, but trust is a necessity. Trust is one of our major tenets, and we'll work hard to start doing that, but that's hard to rush.
Coach Mark Murphy from Inside the Auburn Tigers. Have you got a time frame on when you'd like to get your staff on board?
Yesterday. I don't, for all the right reasons. Instead of hiring a staff, we needed to connect with these guys. Once we get a plan for how we're going to meet and what the next few days are going to look like, these guys have been here working. These guys have been surrounded by all these people in this room that I'm begging for to come with me. Not following behind me, but walk right beside me to continue to do that, to make a difference for these guys. But they can handle themselves, and they've been working, and they've played their whole life, and they got that 2-year for junior college player, the 3-year if they leave us early, that 4-year span, or 5 years if they get banged up. They've dreamed about this their whole life. And that was the challenge when I met with them, to make sure that the gas pedal is not mashed halfway down, to make sure you know how to run your own show if we don't get caught up in our own self-pity. So I kind of encouraged them to mash the gas pedal all the way down and keep working. Because at the end of the day, we all run our own show anyway. So they have an opportunity to do that. And they got very qualified, great people there helping them now. I think a staff for my one shot in this moment in time for me is important. I want the best coaches possible. I want great recruiters. I want great developers, all the blah, blah, blah. But I think Jay Jacobs is a baseball recruiting coordinator. Robin, my wife, she's the baseball recruiting coordinator at Auburn. every one of you guys that care about Auburn baseball and are going to join this journey with us, you guys are recruiting coordinators at Auburn University. Because you're going to have that opportunity and you're going to have that moment when you see a family to go the other way or try to make sure that you give them a pleasant hello. Can we do anything for you? Auburn's a great place, and keep doing what you do. But everybody in this room is here for a reason and a purpose, and I think we all should be galvanized in that to help these guys to keep recruiting. Butch Thompson's not Auburn baseball. Auburn baseball is bigger than everybody in this room. And I think we just have to keep working to build that identity for our school to make our baseball team line up with that.
But your role as far as recruiter, pitching coach, now head coach, how different will that be and how will you divide yourself in those roles?
Yeah, I think initially that'd be tough to do. You have strengths and I have a ton of weaknesses, but if pitching and recruiting is what I built my career on, it's what I think was part of the process to give me the opportunity. I can't become the head coach at Auburn and completely stop doing my strengths. I mean, our high school coaches in this state are tremendous. The junior college coaches. I coached in this state for 13 years at Auburn as a head junior college coach at a small NAIA school in Birmingham Southern where I graduated from. These relationships in our state are important to me. And I do everything in my power to keep making sure that I'm being the best recruiter I can. Not to try to beat somebody or another school, but to try to get who we are and have those roles defined. Pitching, I wish we had like 7 full-time coaches. I don't think we're at that stage yet. So if you have, your staff's really important, but the pitching part of it, have to continue to do that component. We all have help. All this specialization, really your best coaches can coach and coach well. But yeah, I think I have to continue to do my strengths instead of sit there and say, oh, I'm the head coach at Auburn now, I'm gonna sit back. I don't think that would serve me well. The reason why I've wanted to stay in the SEC and I love coaching the SEC is because our schools, all of our schools in the SEC are committed to baseball. All of them. Maybe that hadn't always been that way, but baseball, everybody's bought in. And I think you're matched athletically. And we have to get great players. And some of those great players are in this room. And some of these great players that have been in Auburn uniforms are the highest of the high. And I think one of the players I had the opportunity to coach here, hopefully he's about to be named MVP of a pretty good league. But you're matched athletically. And then what makes the difference? I still think, our work ethic, our integrity, our intangibles, how we attack things, the student of the game means more than probably how tall or how fast.